would not be possible to explore the operations function within a business without looking in detail at the particularly important concept of quality. Quality has come up often in previous videos, but how a business manages the quality of their goods and services is almost as important as producing them in the first place. In this video, we will look at the first of two possible approaches to managing the quality of goods and services. This approach is simply known as quality control. In the next video, we'll focus on the second approach to managing quality, known as quality assurance, what exactly this entails, and examine a popular method of quality assurance called total quality management. But let's start by looking at the term quality. What does it mean? And why is it even important? Well, quality means that a product or service does what it is designed to do. It meets customers' expectations, it doesn't have any defects, and it meets laws such as safety regulations. Most of the time, a business will have its own expectation of the quality it will provide, a way of measuring the standards that customers should expect. This will vary from business to business. For example, a hospital might set targets for patient waiting times. If these times get too high, then the quality of service is not good enough. Maybe a retail business might set targets for the length of its queues, and if too many people are waiting for too long, then again, this is a measure that quality has dropped. It could be the number of refunds issued or number of complaints received, but almost every business will measure the quality that they provide. So why do they do this? Well, because the customer has their own expectations of the quality that they should receive. Now bear in mind, this measure of quality that they expect will usually depend on how much they are actually paying. They will always expect products to be safe and legal, but they might not expect as much quality if they are spending £10 on a pair of trainers from Asda compared to spending £200 on a pair of limited edition Air Force Ones. To all the teachers out there, show all of these videos without any ads and gain access to our growing library of over 500 teaching worksheets. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? Regardless of the price they pay though, they will undoubtedly have expectations of quality. If a business has good quality products or services comparable to its price, then customers are more likely to buy from the business again. This is unsurprisingly referred to as repeat purchases. Along the same lines, if you manufacture products and you manufacture them to a high quality, this will often mean customers like what you make and want to buy more. This will then lead to shops and other outlets being more likely to stock your product and probably any new products you bring out in the future. Don't forget, your potential customers often have a choice of many different products or services, sold by many different businesses other than just yours. And when this is the case, your quality can become an important part of differentiating yourself from all of this competition, making your business stand out in the crowd. However, if your products or services don't meet these expectations of quality, then customers may be unhappy and are less likely to buy from you again. Unhappy customers tend to tell other customers and put it on social media too, which can damage your brand and lead to reduced sales. Even if you figure out your mistakes, remember, throwing away, repairing or recalling faulty goods or services is an expensive game. If you end up with the demand for your product dropping, you may end up producing goods that nobody actually wants and that you will probably struggle to sell. In the worst case scenario, if your business is sued because your products are of a poor quality, you'll have to pay the costs of any legal action, as well as suffering potentially horrendous damage to your brand. So you can see that there are a whole load of reasons that businesses are concerned about their quality. The most important part of all of this is that your expectations of quality need to meet the expectations of the customer. And to do this, you will need to decide on some quality standards. Once a business has set these standards for quality, it can then measure whether it's actually hitting those standards. It may do this in a number of ways, including getting information from customers, either by using surveys or other methods of gathering feedback, or they may even use mystery shoppers. But to check that quality standards are met before the product or service arrives, With the final customer, many businesses will just use their own staff to check the quality of their own work, sometimes at each stage of the entire process, or sometimes right at the very end. So, when it comes to getting staff to check these quality standards have been met, there are two main ways a business might manage the quality process. The first is quality control, and the other is known as quality assurance. But for the time being, let's just focus on quality control. Bring this video and over 100 more to life with fun, interactive games, quizzes, and case studies. Why not try the first 25 completely free by visiting BizzWizard.co.uk. So what is it? Well, quality control is a system to make sure that finished goods and services meet the required standards of quality. The most important word here is finished. So the quality control actually happens at the end of the production process. Its purpose is to identify defects in the production or service through the process of detection and rejection. For goods, this could involve having quality inspectors, human beings who sample products when they have been manufactured in order to check for problems. Often, it's just not practical to check every single item, so a business might use sampling. For example, checking every 1 in 10 cars on a production line using the quality control inspectors. If one of these cars is discovered to have faults or simply not be up to the quality standards, then it will be rejected. Other cars manufactured at the same time will also be recalled and checked before they are sold. These rejected cars will have their faults identified and resolved before undergoing a further quality control process. In other cases, you might use machinery to detect faults rather than human inspectors. For example, a machine might check the weight of every can of baked beans is within a certain percentage of the correct weight. Cans outside of this acceptable range will be automatically rejected, and the production lines may be adjusted to ensure the rest of the cans produced are in the correct weight range. For services, this could mean using reviews, surveys, or mystery shoppers to check if a service is up to scratch. For example, a hotel might use a mystery guest to book a stay and score the hotel on all aspects of its service. So, we've looked at a few examples of quality control, but in an effort to understand the process further, we're going to meet this video's main example. This is Aaron Jenkins. Aaron works as the quality control manager for a popular snowboard manufacturer called On Slope Limited. He is responsible for making sure his team does not allow any faulty snowboarding equipment to ever leave their factory. As a keen snowboarder himself, Aaron knows just how important it is for customers to feel confident that they are buying good quality products when it comes to this kind of equipment. The quality of On Slope's equipment allows customers to have an enjoyable experience on the slopes, but more importantly, a safe trip, avoiding the risk of any injuries. Aaron's quality control team inspect the equipment once it has been manufactured, and they test a sample to make sure that there are no defects. If any problems are detected, then the products are rejected and are not sent out to be sold to customers. Instead, they are either reworked to fix the defect or scrapped and broken down for usable parts. Each of the video courses over at BizzWizard.co.uk also includes an interactive business case study that applies the knowledge learnt to a real-world scenario. There are over 1,000 multiple-choice questions, each with detailed feedback, which tests students' understanding of the content. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? So let's analyse the advantages and disadvantages of using quality control as a method of managing quality. The first advantage of using quality control is that it means they can avoid selling defective snowboarding equipment, meaning fewer customer refunds. This will lead to the business saving money on refunding these customers, and they should therefore have more funds available to improve other areas of the business. The next advantage is that having quality control in place should mean a better reputation for safety and quality. This is particularly important for a snowboard manufacturer, and this improved reputation should build a positive brand image. Using quality control to remove defective products will often lead to increased sales. This increase in revenue should lead to improved profits if costs are controlled, and therefore the business should have a greater chance of taking market share from its rivals. The improved brand image developed by having quality control in place may also mean that a business like Onslope will be able to charge higher prices, once again meaning increased sales revenue and hopefully improved profits. Finally, as the process of quality control occurs after the equipment has been made, there's no disruption to the production process, resulting in potentially increased productivity. However, there are some important disadvantages to consider when deciding to only put quality control processes in place when managing quality. Firstly, it can often be expensive. Inspectors are needed and this costs money. Aaron has a team of 4 quality control inspectors, and each inspector is paid a reasonable wage, so you can imagine how these costs can add up. As products are checked after they are produced, this means that any faults are not found until the end of the process. This can result in increased waste, particularly if the errors can't be fixed or if the product needs to be destroyed. And finally, sometimes having a dedicated quality control team can mean that other workers aren't necessarily as motivated to take any responsibility for quality. So, to sum things up, you need to remember that quality control is the process of checking final products and services after they have been produced. It's a process of detection and rejection. It means that faulty products shouldn't end up being sold to your customers, but because they aren't checked until they are finished, it can be costly to rework the items and they may end up being wasted at the end of the day. As you can see, there are some significant benefits to implementing a quality control process, but there are also some limitations to consider. In our next video, we'll look at a different approach to quality management called quality assurance, and we'll see how this compares. But until then, this has been the BizzWizard. See you in the next video.